LA This Week.
A symposium here at Union Station to help seniors make the transition to riding Metro. And that transition may be a lot easier than you think. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
We'll show you how some neighbors in Sunland, Tujunga took the city's neighborhood preparedness plan and put it into action, which may have saved some neighbors during a fire. I'm Anna Margos, and we'll have that coming up.
Discover your neighborhood parks through virtual reality game Pokemon Go. That's all coming up. Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, the images look pleasant, but read carefully and you'll notice dark, hidden messages about abuse. A new advertising blitz shines a light on the hidden crime of domestic violence. As Gil Reyes reports, the ads have the support of LA's first couple.
That's not a typo. The sign reads, "You may now hit the bride." Expect to do a double take when viewing the city's latest ads.
Abuse of any kind has no place in a relationship, and it has no place in our city. This powerful campaign will send that message loud and clear.
The First Lady of Los Angeles, Amy Wakeland, and her husband, Mayor Eric Garcetti, talk about the Domestic Violence Has No Place Here campaign. It takes romantic imagery, say a box of chocolates, and pairs it with contrasting messages about violence and control. This one says, "Without me, you are nothing."
You'll see posters on billboards, bus benches and shelters, city facilities like our libraries and our recreation centers. And these posters broadcast loud and clear a central message, that love and abuse do not belong together.
As a father of three, two of them daughters, I have this talk all the time. Somebody that's controlling, somebody that wants to know where you are all the time, somebody that is willing to talk about force, that's not a relationship you want to enter.
That goes for everyone. The city has received $425,000 from the Justice Department to improve domestic abuse services for people with disabilities. The LAPD has also expanded its DART, or Domestic Abuse Response Teams, over the past year.
Only about half of the LAPD divisions before had a domestic abuse response team. Today, every single one of them does, and that is tremendous.
The signs in English and Spanish come from the Quigley Simpson Ad Agency and placed on billboards donated by Clear Channel. There's also a website for people in need of help, nodvla.org. The LAPD says 1 out of 2 families in the U.S. is involved in domestic violence at some point. 1 in 4 victims are men. At City Hall, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
If you need help immediately, call 911 and log on to nodvla.org for more information on shelters and resources. Well, if a fire breaks out in your neighborhood, would you know what to do? A disaster can happen when you least expect it, but taking quick action can mean the difference between life and death. That's why the city is pushing LA communities to start a neighborhood disaster plan. Anna Marcos shows us how one neighborhood plan may have saved residents from a fire.
I was sitting in a chair right by the front window. I saw a huge black plume of smoke. I knew it wasn't a barbecue. By the time I got outside, I saw flames and I heard the sirens.
A house barbecue fire in the Sunland neighborhood could have grown deadly with 10 people in the house. But some residents say it was their own neighborhood preparedness plan and the readiness of one of their team leaders that helped get the family out in time.
He got them out before there was any smoke inhalation or, God forbid, burns.
We may have helped out some just by knowing the people and knowing where they lived and how many were in there.
Resident Pat Kramer took the first step in creating the neighborhood disaster plan with help from the city.
I went out and I put out a letter on everyone's doorstep. I knocked on 40 doors.
She and Eleanor Dolan, another team leader, have even picked out a command control center in case of a disaster, Dolan's own backyard. She has even created a map of the neighborhood.
I did this on my own, thinking it would be a really good idea to know where everybody lived, how many people were in the houses, and how many pets they had.
Much of the plan is borrowed from the city's 5-step neighborhood preparedness plan, which includes defining how much of your neighborhood you will be responsible for, recruiting team leaders, and creating a plan, among other things.
The main disaster we are preparing for is an earthquake, because we know the big one is coming.
Every neighborhood should have a plan, because if they don't, after a big disaster, they're going to be on their own. We don't have enough first responders to come and rescue each and every person.
So you get to know your neighbors, but if that's not enough, the city has added another incentive. For anyone who writes up a neighborhood emergency preparedness plan and turns it in, the city will give them one of these, an emergency preparedness kit. For these neighbors, no earthquake yet, but the plan has already paid off. A house has burned down, but the people in it are alive and well, partly due to neighborhood readiness. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The city also has a new Jumpstart program, a shorter version of the 5-step plan. For information on neighborhood readiness, visit 5steps.la. Well, from a neighborhood plan to a college plan, and a big relief if you're an incoming freshman. LA is offering 2 free semesters of community college starting in September. Experts sat with the mayor to discuss expanding this program even further. Gil Reyes explains.
The only high school student member of the LA School Board says she's proud of LA's newly enacted College Promise.
Because it is groundbreaking, and it is something that the entire country will be following one day.
But first, how about tuition-free community college for at least 1 year throughout California? The possibility probed at this panel discussion at Getty House.
Where students can expect that upon graduation that they will actually go to, as a normal course of circumstance, one of our colleges.
LA's Promise offers free 1 year's tuition at LA community colleges for graduating LA Unified students starting next year. It's patterned after Long Beach's Promise system. Long Beach Superintendent Eloy Oakley, who is also the incoming chancellor of California community colleges, promises to take up this fight in Sacramento.
We're going to do everything we can to create an environment in California that allows districts like LA to do what's right for their community.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti moderated the discussion and talked about the costs.
It's $250 million to make this throughout California. $250 million may sound like a lot. In the state budget, it is not. So we're looking forward to helping support those initiatives as you take on, in December, your new role.
The scale we're talking about is massive. I mean, it has not been done at the scale we're looking at. And it takes really dedicated leadership. It takes partnership.
Between school districts, colleges, and generous corporations. At the Getty House, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
LA's College Promise alone costs $3 million for the first year and required donations from the Broad, the Karsh Family Foundations, as well as the LA Dodgers. Well, 1 year of free college tuition is certainly a good thing, but add a free computer, that's just the icing on the cake. As the city's innovative computer giveaway arrived in the West Valley, and it certainly didn't disappoint. Gil Reyes reports on the latest Our Cycle LA rollout.
The lines formed early as families in and around Reseda became the latest to receive free refurbished computers, thanks to the city and its partners.
Everyone's going to get a full desktop computer that comes with a monitor, a tower, the mouse, all the cables, a keyboard. They're also going to get a Wi-Fi adapter. Since these are refurbished computers, they're going to get a MiFi device so they get Wi-Fi as well.
That's 4 free years of internet access, Windows 7 and Microsoft Office included. The families can thank the Our Cycle LA program. Our Cycle takes thousands of outdated city department computers and refurbishes them for people in need.
We didn't want to just do what most cities do, which is they send their computers to the scrap heap or to be recycled. We wanted to actually take the equipment that the city had been using, that the taxpayers paid for, and find a way to make something positive happen in the community with those computers.
Councilman Bob Blumenfield represents this section of the San Fernando Valley. He worked with the city's Information Technology Agency, or ITA, to launch the giveaway 2 years ago. For many of these families, it's their very first computer. Other families in Van Nuys, Baldwin Village, and San Pedro have also received them.
We're working very closely with local schools to identify families in need who don't have a computer at home, can't get the homework done, can't browse the internet, can't do the research that many of us have become accustomed to. And so we're getting them the opportunity with some training to be able to get out there and compete digitally with the rest of us.
Councilmember Wesson and other council members to bring this program to various communities within the city of LA. Some things probably very few cities do anything like this throughout the country. And it's a very, very positive program and activity that literally you can see that the city is giving back.
And your neighborhood could be next. Stay tuned. In Reseda, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Around 85 computers were handed out. Well, turning now to a program where students help each other to succeed. City Year, part of the National AmeriCorps program, held its 10th annual swearing-in ceremony with a fresh crop of volunteers. Anna Marcos takes a look.
You could say the young people in this City Year AmeriCorps program are cheerleaders of sorts. Today, close to 300 volunteers are getting sworn into City Year Los Angeles, a nonprofit program that goes into schools in disadvantaged neighborhoods. The volunteers help teachers and students in the classroom with one-on-one tutoring, mentoring, and academic assistance for students with the highest need.
Each school year, 1 in 4 of our students drops out. In some of the communities we serve, the dropout rate is close to 50%.
Well, I serve to basically be a shining star that lights the way for those who may be lost in the dark.
This is a great opportunity to give back to the community that I came from and to also be able to work with students.
What you're doing is you're giving hope and inspiration to young men and women, young boys and girls who have so many obstacles laid in front of them through no fault of their own.
On its 10th anniversary, the City Year program is now in 28 LA schools, in places like Watts, South LA, Boyle Heights, and Pico Union. Mayor Eric Garcetti spoke to the volunteers through video.
A recent study showed that students at City Year schools are up to 3 times more likely to improve their math and English scores. They have better odds of crossing that finish line on graduation day.
We are building a movement that truly will change the world.
This year, City Year Corps members, there is a hate that is directed at our kids and their families and their communities that has a national stage unlike we have seen in generations.
Good morning. Buenos dias.
Many of these young people are college graduates who themselves have taken advantage of academic programs in their neighborhoods. Now they are ready to pay it forward and help other students like them succeed. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
My name is Alex, and you know what I got. What do you got?
In its 10 years, the City Year program has helped more than 27,000 students succeed. Well, maybe you or someone you know is an older adult who can no longer drive. Well, that shouldn't stop them from exploring Los Angeles, especially since Metro is offering group tours for seniors on how to use public transit. Gil Reyes has more from Union Station. Gil.
Well, Yana, here in car-centric Los Angeles, the philosophy has been for years that if you were too old to drive, then that was it. You were relegated to your home or your living room all day with nowhere to go. But not so anymore, especially with so many options on Metro available. And there are groups out there to help you make the transition.
Barbara Jaden leads what's known as the On the Move Riders Club from her home city of Duarte. Once a week, this group of older adults gets together, rides Metro, and explores all the great things Los Angeles has to offer without ever driving.
So this club came along at just the perfect time for me. And I've met all kinds of new friends and new adventures. Every week is a new adventure. Santa Monica is always a popular destination. And now that we can get there on the Gold and then on the Expo all the way, that's always a popular one. Naples Island, but that's totally with buses out of El Monte Station. And cruise the Naples Island, end up at Belmont Pier Brewery. I don't know if that's the name of it, but it's a nice little restaurant down there.
These group tours are free, except for the fare and the price of lunch. The goal here is to encourage more seniors to use public transportation, seniors who've spent most of their lives driving, but might be intimidated to make the switch.
We're hoping that, after several trips, a person would feel like, oh, okay, this isn't so hard, and I can do this, and oh, I learned about Route, 25, and it goes right by the Trader Joe's that I love. Why don't I just go on my own?
Roughly 25,000 older adults ride Metro every year. Some of the newer ones have gathered here at this symposium at Union Station to learn about some of the secret perks, like senior discounts. It's just 75 cents for one-way trips, 35 cents during non-peak hours.
And we also hope that we will inspire older adults to get out of their houses and go places, because who wants to grow old sitting in your living room? They're learning about their city and their county, and they're having fun and meeting other people too.
If you can't join a club, just get out and travel with your friends, because there's so many places to go that are right near train stations.
So ride Metro, explore Los Angeles, and savor the good life. At Union Station, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
And Metro has on-the-move clubs in Sylmar, Chinatown, and Mar Vista, and is looking to establish more. If you want to start a group or join an existing one, call the number on your screen at 213-922-2299. Well, heading south to Watts, where a two-day festival took attendees on a musical journey around the world, all without having to leave a historic part of Los Angeles. Rasha Goel has more on the celebrations.
It's a day of celebrating indigenous drums, music, dance, and art represented by different cultures, but all under one hub, at the Watts Towers Art Center.
It's so multicultural, it's so family-oriented, and we have the best talent in the city on stage.
And there was certainly plenty of talent on hand at this 55th anniversary of the Watts Towers Art Center, which has been the hub of artists and their artwork for decades.
Sometimes we don't get our fair coverage on the media, but Watts is a very rich place culturally. We may be challenged economically, but we're very rich in culture.
After all, the Watts Towers were built by Italian immigrant Simon Rodia. Building this masterpiece was his obsession for 33 years.
We've got to acknowledge where we came from. He started all of this. He was recycling before it was vogue.
The famed Watts Towers have served as the backdrop for a festival that has become a tradition for so many.
This has evolved into a cultural event as opposed to just a family event.
An entire weekend dedicated to the rich cultural diversity that makes up the City of Angels. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Now, if you have kids, then you've probably heard about Pokemon Go. The game is a worldwide sensation, and the city is using it to attract more visitors to area parks. Gil Reyes has more.
The Department of Recreation and Parks has figured out a way to lure visitors to one of LA's best-kept secrets.
Today has been pretty great. Like a lot of families, a lot of kids.
Welcome to the Exposition Park Rose Garden near USC. The 7-acre park is on the National Register of Historic Places, but because it's hidden behind the Natural History Museum, many Angelinos didn't know it existed until now. After invitations went out on social media to play the popular game Pokemon Go here.
It's on a phone, whether you have an iPhone or a Galaxy, and you download the Pokemon app, and what the goal is, first you join a team, and there's different levels. Levels 1, you go all the way up to past 30, and that's depending on how many Pokemons you're able to get. So the more you play, the more Pokemons you get, raises the level, and you go around your community or wherever you may live, and you battle for gems and Pokemon, and it's a good opportunity to be outdoors and play the game.
The Department of Recreation and Parks set up Pokemon gym battles and lure fests at other locations from Griffith Park to Cabrillo Beach. Players, mostly young people, get their exercise in and explore places they never visited, while others get a chance to sell their wares.
This is a Poke Glove, and it's the world first glove with a built-in battery. and basically it charges your phone with a battery in the back of your hand. And so the phone doesn't die, since Pokemon Go is an app that drains your battery pretty quickly.
Cashing in on the craze is yet another way to score. At the Exposition Park Rose Garden, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Handsome Dam Recreation Center in Lakeview Terrace and Travel Town near the LA Zoo also hosted Pokemon Go gym battles. Well, over at City Hall, it was a party aimed at helping the hearing impaired get connected, socialize, shop, and get access to important city services. The annual Deaf Festival LA rolled into action with an added conversational twist. Anna Marcos has more.
At this festival, people were not only speaking in tongues, but in American Sign Language. The hand gestures of ASL were everywhere as the annual Deaf Festival LA kicked off on the steps of City Hall.
This is an opportunity to come and have a wonderful time with people not so much like you, but you can learn to sign here.
Entertainment, vendors, artwork, food trucks, and all kinds of city services helped cater to the hearing impaired, but folks with normal hearing were also welcome.
This is a one-stop shop for people to pick up resources, connect with one another, network. This is a really important and sometimes neglected or not thought of community.
Deaf individuals, families, and communities really see themselves as a whole culture. And I think, we're working very hard in the city of Los Angeles to make sure they're recognized as a culture just like other folks are.
From train sets to high fashion, this festival had a little something for every taste.
Oh, but we have a fashion show. You know how the people go like, and the hair.
Basically a good old homegrown community festival like any other, but with a lot lower decibel level and a lot more expressive hand movements. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell says the city is trying to be more responsive to the hearing impaired. It has installed more video remote interpreting services at libraries and other locations in the city. Well, Councilwoman Nuri Martinez stands up for women's health rights. A staple in the community is honored on its golden anniversary, and a call goes out to all LA artists to take part in a special exhibit. All these stories in Citybeat. Councilwoman Nuri Martinez recently joined the Los Angeles Coalition for Reproductive Justice to praise passage of a resolution that reinstated abortion care insurance coverage for all women regardless of income, insurance, or where they live. The group asked the City Council to lift restrictions on abortion care coverage so that every woman can make a decision that is right for her. They're also calling on Congress to repeal the Hyde Amendment, which prohibits using federal funds to pay for abortion care.
No woman, particularly the most vulnerable in our society, should be forced into an unwanted or dangerous pregnancy by a Washington, D.C. politician.
Councilmember Jose Huizar and Councilmember Curran Price honored the two-time Stanley Cup winning Los Angeles Kings on their 50th season. The organization, which supports and contributes to many local groups in the community, also announced a $1 million donation to the YMCA to get more kids involved in hockey.
We're going to get hockey sticks in over 5,000 kids' hands, and we think that could really make a big difference.
LA's Housing and Community Investment Department is calling for submissions to be part of a first-of-its-kind exhibit called The Phases and Faces of Affordable Housing in Los Angeles. The exhibit will run from mid-March through April 2017 and will focus on the human cost of homelessness and the lack of affordable housing in Los Angeles. Between 30 and 50 images and videos will be selected based on creativity, originality, quality, and adherence to the focus of the exhibit. You may submit as many photos, videos, and stories as you like. For information on submissions, visit hcidla.lacity.org/phases and faces. An all-new stop sign was installed recently at the intersection of Mesa Avenue and Avenue 61 in Highland Park. This was made possible by community members who spoke at a special meeting of the Board of Public Works in Cypress Park last January. They requested a stop sign to be placed at the intersection. Well, can a mural really improve neighborhood pride? And the bottom line? Well, city leaders and one local merchant are counting on it as they unveil a new business and a new public mural in Sun Valley. Here's Anna Marcos with more.
At Raspado Express, the motto is, a little bit of street art is good for business and good for the soul. The party helped celebrate the grand opening of the restaurant in Sun Valley and the unveiling of the mural Childhood on one of its outside walls.
A lot of my murals have to do with social justice. So there's, books that were banned in Arizona, there's immigration rights, there's environmental justice, global warming, saving water, just kind of make people more conscious of what's happening around the world.
Owner Oscar Limon also put in his own 2 cents worth when it came to the creative effort.
I thought about having childhood memories of kids playing. I feel like kids are losing that sense of street playing, and that was my motivation.
For community members, artists and non-artists alike, mural art like this is a giant step forward for Sun Valley.
I like seeing young people develop and learn to express their talent in a more positive way than writing on windows and walls.
I hope that kids get involved, but we got to create that environment for them. We got to make it cool, and we got to find them a place where they can express all that good stuff.
Christy Sandoval's mural work is now featured at 5 different sites in the valley. Her public art can also be seen in cities around the country and even in Turkey. But for this valley girl, nothing beats art that beautifies and revitalizes your very own neighborhood. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The mural Childhood can be found near the corner of San Fernando Road and Sunland Boulevard. Well, celebrate the Day of the Dead, get a behind-the-scenes peek at some of LA's most popular cultural destinations, and your favorite haunted hayride will have you running for cover. All this in this week's Things to Do. Hollywood Forever Cemetery brings to life the largest Day of the Dead celebration in California during its 17th annual Dia de los Muertos festival. The cemetery grounds are covered with art exhibitions, dance rituals, musical performances, children's arts and crafts projects, and food vendors aplenty. You'll see altars to the dead created by community artists, and you can either watch or participate in the skeleton costume contest. Join the fun on Saturday, October 29th at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, located at 6000 Santa Monica Boulevard. For more, visit ladayofthedead.com. It's an all-access pass and day-long free event to some of the best of the arts, highlighting the art-centric stretch of Grand Avenue between Temple and 6th Streets. The Center Theater Group, LA Phil, the Music Center, the Broad, and the LA Public Library all open their doors for a truly one-of-a-kind experience. Take an inside look at rehearsals, architecture tours, museum exhibitions, performances, workshops, food and drinks for all to enjoy. So grab the whole crew to take a peek behind the scenes for the ultimate Los Angeles field trip. It all happens on Saturday, October 29th on Grand Avenue. For thrill seekers, check out Los Angeles Haunted Hayride. The famed Griffith Park attraction takes folks on a ride through the old zoo, where they'll face the underworld and portrayals of the 7 deadly sins. This year features a brand new theme, Secret Society. Inside the gates of the society, members will bear witness to the clandestine lives of their faction, and in a shocking turn, will be commandeered by the society and sent into an initiation, confronting the ghosts of Hayride's past on foot, face to face. That's right, for the first time ever, guests will leave the safety of the hay wagon. The adventure begins at 7 p.m. on October 28th. Visit LosAngelesHauntedHayride.com for more. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.